Hello, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me first remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT no government license, which allows for the use and reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is BIPCOT.org. We're also protected by Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969, which ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to inciting or producing an imminent lawless action and is likely to incite or produce such action. Therefore, everything said here on Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion is entirely hypothetical. This is episode 151. You guys are supposed to party girl, woo!
Woo!
We've broken the 150 barrier without completely pod fading. That's impressive.
Bacardi 151, party girl drink.
Okay. All right. I can't drink Bacardi 151 because it tastes like a time I almost died. So
I have that same issue with vodka.
Do you guys remember that shit from the 90s called Aftershock?
Yeah.
That stuff tastes.
Don't they still sell that? I thought they still might sell that.
That stuff tastes like a time I almost died.
Ugh.
My first hard alcohol was peppermint schnapps.
Nice.
They do not still serve Aftershock. You have to order, somebody's stored stock.
Oh.
Some of these bottles go for like $130.
There's some prepper in East Texas or in West Texas somewhere that has a whole fucking shed full of this somewhere.
Cases of it.
If the generator runs out,
they're welcome to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they brought back Zima for a little bit, and I was too young.
People still hated it.
Yeah, I was too young the last time it existed to actually try any of it, so I got a 6, and when I bought it, they had like Jolly Ranchers right next to their display of it, and I didn't know why you would do Jolly Ranchers with it because I've never had it. No one's ever told me. And the guy's like, "Don't you want Jolly Ranchers?" And I'm like, "No, I just want to kind of experience it, as they did in the 90s." And he's like, "Dude, everybody in the 90s threw Jolly Ranchers in this, trust me." And I didn't get Jolly Ranchers, and I wish I would have gotten Jolly Ranchers. Oh my God, is it bad?
I know.
On behalf
it's like
of the Anarchy Among
Friends
Friends Roundtable discussion, I would like to apologize for that 3 seconds that you had to listen to Andrew's story.
Yeah.
Continuing with the podcast.
Yeah. I gotta turn the volume down.
Just fucking, that's just so disgusting. Like if
it's not the worst thing we've ever talked about.
No, it's
bad,
not.
though.
It's bad.
It's bad. It's like if you took Smirnoff Ice and then removed any redeeming qualities from it at all, that's what it tastes like.
And like threw a splash of Sprite into it.
Yeah, it's just so bad.
No, you can't even say Sprite. It's the dollar store stuff that comes in the 3-liter bottle.
That's right. Lemon lime.
Dr.
Zip. It just says lemon lime on it.
Yep.
Yep. Albertson's brand vodka in a plastic jug.
Oh.
That sounds like Fleischmann's around here.
No. It's Albertson's brand vodka in a plastic jug, the plastic handle, and Sunny Delight.
That just sounds so.
That just sounds like somebody being.
That was for about $10. For about $10, you could get 5 or 6 people drunk. Back in the day. That was ours. That was our go-to back in the day.
Oh man.
God.
Oh, the hangover made you want to get hit by a train.
I can get a half gallon of decent vodka for $10, but that's only because I still have access to the NEX.
Yeah, that would be nice. No, I thought it was fun the other day.
You have to order your alcohol cran-free.
What's that?
Do you have to order your alcohol cran-free?
No.
They have that cran flavor, that the
Crayola
or whatever.
No, they have a Crayola cereal too. The box is white. The box is white with like signs on it, and it comes with like crayons. That's the toy, and you're supposed to color the box while you eat the cereal.
But,
Or it's a side snack for Marines.
That's what I was getting at. Eat,
Yeah.
supplemental
eat the
diet.
crayons and do art with the cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arts and crafts.
I just saw a post actually on Twitter where it's a guy who said, I'm just sitting here thinking about that time that a fellow Marine found out that I had a degree and very quietly pulled me aside and asked me where the sun goes when it's raining.
Oh my God.
I wish that surprised me. I really do.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be it's one of those moments that like I wish more people wore cameras.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that would be a fun one.
What's up first, Jason?
I don't know, where do we want to start?
I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't read any of these. I don't.
Let's start with something kind of funny, and then we can get to the shitty stuff, and then we'll do something funny again.
Kind of funny or like really funny?
Let's do kind of funny. That way we can
Kind of
close.
funny.
Kind
Let's
of funny.
say
Okay.
really funny for when my edibles have kicked in all the way.
Okay, so
Then we might get a snort.
we're not doing that article then yet.
Yeah. Wait on that one,
Because
please.
I'm not that the plant article. There's another article
Oh.
that your edibles definitely have to be kicking in
Okay.
for.
All right. Okay.
That'll be a
I
fun
mean, I
one.
don't even know if I'll notice when they kick in. I've been high all fucking day, so
Fucking cheater.
we'll see.
Let's go to
I have
okay, let's
a commission to work on. Oh my God, my arm hurts, and I have an Afghan I have to finish.
you want to shit on California?
I always
That's
want
always
to shit on
fun.
California.
Yeah, always.
The federal government cautions incoming Afghan refugees against moving to California.
I remember this.
So do I. I
Yeah.
would like to
I
add
caution
my opinion to
Americans from moving to California.
that. Yeah, no shit.
The federal government has some helpful advice for Afghan refugees trying to start a new life in America. For the love of God, do not try to rent an apartment in California.
Yeah, don't. Nah, yeah, no.
Just don't even.
Just
don't.
don't.
Yeah, many of the Afghans who have been airlifted out of the country in the wake of the Taliban's takeover will be able to come to America under the U.S. State Department's Special Immigration Visa Program, which provide visas to translators who worked with U.S. forces and help place them in a new city once they get to America. SIV participants will opt to receive resettlement benefits, can also choose to be relocated to one of 19 cities identified as having, quote, reasonable cost of living, housing availability, supportive services, and welcoming communities with volunteers and resources.
None of
I
that
can't
sounds
think
like
of a
California.
single city in this country that fits all those
They're
criteria.
very few.
Hold on.
Yes, very,
These-
very few.
These cities include several in Texas: Houston, Austin, Dallas, all liberal strongholds. The Mountain West, Salt Lake City and Denver, liberal strongholds. The Southeast, Raleigh-Durham and Atlanta, liberal strongholds. And a couple of lower-cost cities in the Mid-Atlantic, Philadelphia and Baltimore. Neither
Liberal
one of those will be good picks.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to Philly or Baltimore. That's a terrible idea. What?
Yeah.
You're
Philly-
almost as likely to get shot in Philly and Baltimore as you are in freaking Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes. Noticeably absent from the list are any cities in California.
Wait,
Shocker.
so they recommend Philadelphia, but not. I'm gonna take a guess that they haven't watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Also,
Nothing in
mostly
California. Nothing in California. Not Portland. Not Seattle.
absent. Right. Also,
Putting that out there.
very few of those cities are cities where any of the people making these recommendations actually have to live.
Yes.
They don't
Mhm.
want their own towns on that list.
Yes. Indeed, the State Department's website explicitly warns arriving Afghanistans against trying to move there to California, saying that, quote, some cities in California are very expensive places to live, and it can be difficult to find reasonable housing and employment. Any
Difficult
resettlement
is an
benefit-
understatement.
Yeah, any resettlement benefits you receive may not comfortably cover the cost of living in those areas.
And not to mention that no matter where you move in California, there's a reasonable expectation that your house and the entire city that you live in might burn to the fucking ground.
Yeah.
Or
Well, I mean, they're coming from Afghanistan.
I mean,
Well, I guess they're used to that.
Well, there's the fires, and then there's the riots, and
And
there's
also, if you're
the earthquakes,
and if you're
the
hoping
drought.
to experience like American style freedoms, California is not the place to go.
No.
Don't fucking go to California.
All I can think of is
That wouldn't be us putting our best foot forward. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
All I can think of is that scene in Lord of War where they're watching TV and they're watching the O.J. Simpson trial, and he goes, "If I ever go to America, I will not live in Brentwood."
6 of the 10 most expensive cities to rent a one-bedroom apartment are located in California, according to the August report from rental website Zuper. The Washington, D.C. metro area, which was ranked the 6th most expensive in the Zuper report, is also singled out by the State Department as a particularly expensive place that incoming migrants should avoid unless they have friends or family who will be able to assist them financially.
Stay out of our town. We don't want you here where
we don't want you
live.
here.
Right.
Ultra expensive New York City, the traditional entry point for past waves of immigrants coming to America. On a personal note, Afghanis moving to New York might not be good right now.
Yeah.
20th anniversary of 9/11, and you pack up and show up in New York. It's only speaking Pashtun. Yeah, that's gonna go well.
Yeah.
Well, like refugees from what that day set off, showing up in New York 20 fucking years later.
Yeah. That's a bad idea.
So, and then the article gets into politics, left to right, blah blah blah. But I don't know. I just thought that was really funny that California is supposed to be one of the models, for Biden economics and Build Back Better. It's supposed to be one of the models for how they want to transfer the current economy system into like we have here in California. And now the government's saying don't move to California because it's too expensive.
Yep. Honestly, good places for them to go would be like the western side of Kansas, because it's relatively dry there, and there's a lot of mountains, even on the far western side.
Yeah. You know what else is a good place? Canada.
You mean like the border with Colorado?
Yeah.
Kansas. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about the only part in Kansas that's really habitable as far as I'm concerned. But
Yeah. Dude,
the
when
rest
we
of it's
drove
like, what?
when we drove through Kansas into Colorado, like in Kansas, the roads were great. And then we get into Colorado, boom, instantly, the second you cross the state line, the roads just turned absolute shit. And there's shit all the way through Colorado. It sucks.
Oh.
Yeah, that's about what you get if you go from, like Wisconsin's roads have a lot of shitty spots, but if you go from Wisconsin and cross over into Minnesota, all of a sudden it's like flipping a switch and you're like, oh my God, these potholes are going to destroy my vehicle. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have potholes here on the freeway that damage vehicles.
I keep seeing, I've got a friend actually that lives over in a small town in Minnesota, and there's a pothole right at the main intersection. It's like the only intersection in that entire town that has a stoplight. And in that intersection, there's a big ass pothole right in the middle of it. Somebody went out there and planted a tree with a happy birthday sign attached to it.
Oh my God.
The anniversary of the pothole. Yay. You're 1 year old.
There was one there was one in
6.
There was one in Miami the other day where the guy planted a banana tree in the pothole in the middle of the road.
Jeez.
That's especially funny because banana trees grow really fast. So, like, if you don't deal with it, it turns into a pretty big plant. Oh, yeah.
What surprised me was how good Wyoming's roads are. They're amazingly good. If fucking Wyoming can have good roads, all you motherfuckers can have good roads. There's no excuse.
You'd think.
Wyoming accepts Bitcoin for official payments.
Huh. I bet they do.
That sounds like Wyoming.
I've been talking about packing up and moving to Cody.
They also have
I have been too. Wyoming's a great fucking town.
Wyoming also has an elected libertarian on their part of their state congress.
Holy cow!
Thanks.
Yeah, an actual libertarian.
It's about the only state where they can make inroads.
Oh,
close.
Sorry, the dogs are ringing their bell trying to.
New Hampshire, but New Hampshire has like 500 state representatives or something like that. It's like one for every 200 residents or something.
Go lay down.
Or 2,000 residents or whatever. It's astronomical number.
Jeez.
But, anyway.
Well, at least it's closer to a decent amount of representation.
Yeah. It still doesn't help them.
No.
But the moral of the story is don't move to California.
Yeah, definitely don't move to California.
That's the moral of every story ever told. Don't move to California.
Don't move to, just about anywhere west of the Continental Divide.
Don't move to anywhere run by liberals. I mean, can we just...
Yeah, like you don't move to Michigan, you don't move to Illinois, you don't move...
Minnesota.
I'd move to Upper Michigan.
You guys can have Detroit if you fix it up. How's that?
They created Detroit.
No, I'm talking about the refugees. They can have Detroit.
They can just have it. We'll give it to you. All you got to do is fix it up.
Yeah, you guys everybody just move right here. Like,
we'll throw the Detroit Lions in just for extra credit.
All you got to do is fix it up, and it's fucking yours. Okay, that's Detroit.
I mean, there's already Dearborn stand. So.
Yeah, it's a work-to-own thing.
Yeah, instead of rent-to-own.
Isn't Dearborn like mostly Pakistani though?
Yeah, it's like it's just very.
So it'll be like home then. It'll be like home then.
It's just a little bit, north of them. You got the
just
Pakistanis.
Little tribal warfare.
And like in Afghanistan, you can't drink the tap water.
Yeah. Right. See, so it's gonna feel.
So whatever space there is between Detroit proper and Dearborn, is that going to be like the new Kashmir? Or not Kashmir. What the hell is that zone between Afghanistan and Pakistan?
It's gonna be the DMZ.
The Khyber.
No.
Yeah, Khyber.
Ooh, American Khyber. I'm all about it.
Well, yeah, if it turns into like if you can buy there what you can buy in the Khyber Pass. I'm all about that. Except it'll be higher quality because we have 3D printers here.
Yeah.
True. And we have actual tools. We don't have to use rocks.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for a Colt AK-47 though.
Yeah, but I think we have shorter attention spans.
What?
Because those people don't let go of shit, and Americans can't remember shit.
True.
That's because most Americans' brains are freaking clogged with bong resin.
Huh?
Damn it! I don't have anything that can catapult off that one.
We have failed to properly segue.
No segue today.
It's the most professional podcast. We will find a way. Even if we have to do the mental jumping jacks of statists in order to accomplish it, we'll figure it out.
Right. Jason just needs to give us a little nudge.
I'm thinking about
well, I mean, Andrew's talking about 3D printed AKs. We could talk about the USA Today.
No, Andrew has a Hawaiian shirt on. So under mandate, Hawaii inmates have to be vaccinated before they can be paroled.
Good Lord.
Oh no! It gets.
Is this the surprise article?
No. I don't see it on the list. No. This is not a surprise article. This is something I found right before we started up.
Oh, okay.
This isn't the funny surprise one. This is so Dirka has her earpiece back in because Andrew has a Hawaiian shirt.
I still had one in, but I had it on mute because Declan was like, "Where's the ham and the turkey?"
On the pig and the turkey. Tell him to go chase them down.
Yeah. And the dogs are in there ringing their fucking bell to come outside.
Okay. Under mandate, Hawaii inmates will have to be vaccinated before they can be paroled. Yes. Oh
my God, that's so fucking illegal.
Holy shit. Hawaii inmates will need to be fully vaccinated against COVID before they are released on parole under a new mandate that goes into effect Thursday. The Hawaii Paroling Authority announced the new rule Wednesday. The only exceptions will be for medical or religious reasons. Quote, I am confident that this requirement will help reduce the spread of infection within the correctional facilities and safeguard our businesses, families, and the community at large. That is Hawaii Paroling Authority Chairman Edward Hyun said in a press release.
I have a question. How is
Answer.
it going to prevent the spread inside the correctional facility?
They want everybody to
when
get
it's guys
jabbed
that are
while they're
getting
still
out.
right, but they want everybody to get jabbed while they're still in. That way, they're eligible to get out.
Yes.
And I would like to point out that it really doesn't help stop the spread.
No, it doesn't.
Well, obviously it doesn't. Yeah, but I mean, can you like this is the kind of thing that like people got up in arms about with the forced castration of inmates and the forced hysterectomies and things. Like this is
of the Native American women.
Oh, yeah, this is the same exact thing. Like you can't you can't just dictate.
We went from 15 days to flatten the curve to get 3 jabs or we won't let you out of the cell.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how long do we? How long from that do we end up with? Oh well, you didn't get the jab, so now you're gonna have to pack up and go live in this camp over here. We're not far from following in us. I know, that's what I'm saying.
And
we're not far away from it.
If the inmate would have otherwise earned parole, and they don't give them parole because they don't have the vaccine, aren't they throwing them in jail essentially for not being vaccinated?
Essentially, they'd be political prisoners. Yeah,
that's what I
they're getting jail time for not getting vaccinated.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That would be my argument.
And Hawaii is one of those ones that arrested a lot of people for cannabis possession and other victimless crimes. Nonviolent victimless.
Yeah, yep. Most of the drug offenders in Hawaii are there because of fucking crystal meth.
Yeah. Which sucks. It's a shitty fucking drug, and they shouldn't be doing it, but they shouldn't be in a fucking cage for choosing to do so.
Oh.
But now you're in a cage now you're left in a cage because now you don't want to get vaccinated.
You literally get jail time for not getting vaccinated.
Yeah. That's.
So this applies to parolees. Does it apply to people who have completed their sentences and?
It does not say. It does not say in the article. I read the entire article.
Because that would piss me off even more. I mean,
yeah, that would be even worse.
Because with parolees, technically they're still in the system,
right?
And that doesn't make it right.
They still have to finish the rest of their sentence, but they do it through parole and probation and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they were saying if you're in prison, you have to get the jab before you can leave. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Then
that would be worse.
Oh, that would be worse.
Yep. So,
I mean, it's bad enough.
Yeah, we can piggyback on this.
Okay.
CNN's Leana Wen. The unvaccinated should not be allowed to leave their homes.
Stop me.
Yeah. No shit.
Well, it's interesting because what she's essentially proposing is a social credit system, and I can't imagine why that would be something that she might.
What was her name again?
Oh, she was born in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Her Wikipedia says she was born in Shanghai. Yeah. So I don't know if it's Leana or Lena. Leana.
I would say Leana.
I think that's Leana.
Okay. Leana Wen is a visiting professor of health policy and management at George Washington University, a Washington Post columnist, the former president of Planned Parenthood, and a medical medical analyst for CNN.
So Planned Parenthood, her body, her choice. But wait, that only applies. Yeah, that only applies to abortion.
Well, no. My body, my choice only applies if you're going to make the choice that I agree with and want to force on you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what they're all about. I mean, that's what this shit is. And they're also, they'll scream every day with their Me Too movement about, guys like Weinstein and stuff. But all he ever said was, hey, take the jab or lose your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She appeared on the so she's medical analyst for CNN. She appeared on the network several times in the past 24 hours to react to President Joe Biden's sweeping new vaccine mandate, which she evidently believes does not go far enough. Quote, "We need to start looking at the choice to remain unvaccinated the same as we look at driving while intoxicated.
No, oh my God.
Oh,
What the fuck?
You have the option to not get vaccinated if you want, but then you can't go out in public.
Jesus, straight out of the CCP playbook.
Hold on.
Fucking God.
When elaborated that society has a, quote, obligation to prevent the unvaccinated from leaving their homes and infecting others, in the same way that society has an obligation to deter drunk drivers. Hold on.
She couldn't sound more Chinese if she tried.
Quote, the vaccinated should not have to pay the price for the so-called choice of the unvaccinated anymore.
If you're fucking vaccinated,
if you believe in the vaccine, then the vaccinated wouldn't be paying any fucking price.
Yeah, what?
Right. And if the fucking problem is, she says right there about the unvaccinated spreading the disease, it's the motherfucking vaccinated people that think that they're protected right now that are spreading it like fucking wildfire. God damn it.
Yeah.
If you're
because
vaccinated,
they can't spread it.
If you're vaccinated, if you have your 3 jabs and your free Dunkin' Donut, aren't you supposed to be protected? Krispy Kreme. Aren't you supposed to be protected? Right? Isn't that the whole point of the vaccine?
That was what it was supposed to be, but the shit don't fucking work.
You. Yeah.
It's to prevent you from getting it and spreading it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
mean, it doesn't prevent either one of those things. It doesn't prevent either of those, but these people walk around with a confidence like it does. And so they are the ones who are fucking spreading it like crazy.
Well, and that's the bizarre thing is that they walk around with the confidence that, oh, I can't possibly get it. I can't possibly spread it because I have the vaccine. And then simultaneously also hold, because cognitive dissonance is a hell of a drug, they also hold that the unvaccinated could infect them as if they weren't vaccinated. So they tacitly acknowledge that the vaccine does not work when they say things like this.
Yes.
But fam, this gets worse, right?
Oh yeah.
I knew you were going to say that, but
yeah.
It always does.
Quote, I think we really need to make it clear that there are privileges associated with being an American. If you wish to have those privileges, you need to get vaccinated. Travel and having the right to travel interstate is not a constitutional right as far as I know to board a plane. If you want to stay unvaccinated, that's your choice. But if you want to travel, you better get vaccinated.
Yeah, the Supreme Court has fucking ruled on that.
Yeah, it's not a constitutional right as far as I know. Well, it's constitutional right as far as the Supreme Court of the United States knows.
Yep.
Jesus, fuck.
Declan's letting the dogs out.
Oh, there goes a doggo.
This is so bad. This is a constitutional right. The Constitution doesn't grant a fucking thing.
Yeah.
No. It's a list of rules that the government is supposed to obey by.
And they've shown time and again that they really don't fucking care.
It does not apply to you or I.
No.
It applies to government action.
See, and that's the flip. That's the flip that's happened where it's stopped being about, hey, these are listed rights that you have that government is always in the wrong for infringing on, to becoming, oh, these are the privileges that you get to enjoy. I'm pretty sure it's called a Bill of Rights and not a Bill of Privileges.
Right.
Right.
So how about you go fuck yourself, you communist Chinese piece of shit? Go back to China and let's maybe let the free people who want to be free keep doing what we want to fucking do.
Quote.
Right. If you want to live like that, there are places in the world you can go.
Yeah, China.
Yeah, like China. Quote, I wish he had also announced some type of proof of vaccination. It's so easy to counterfeit. We don't allow this to board an airplane, right? You don't go to the TSA checkpoint and say, I am who I am. Here's a piece of paper where I wrote my name.
Oh my God.
They don't
so
support
different.
fucking IDs either.
Yeah. Well, I don't
We
support
must have
IDs
the
either, but that's a
papers
little
issued
different.
by the fatherland.
That's a little different than fucking pieces of your medical history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and people will I keep hearing people, yell about like what HIPAA went out the window a long fucking time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A long time ago. HIPAA went out the window the moment that they started requiring vaccines for you to go to school.
Well, more than that, a lot of people don't realize this, but like in Wisconsin, we have what's called the WIR, the Wisconsin Immunization Record. It's a portal out there that's run by the state. School districts have access to your kids' medical records for their vaccination history.
Mm-hmm.
At will.
At will.
Yeah.
Just this continued use of the word privilege is absolutely fucking infuriating.
This is what I mean, to demonstrate how insane that somebody in the United States is saying this and not being like beaten to death in the streets.
A professor. She's a professor.
Well, that doesn't surprise anybody.
If you replace unvaccinated with Jew
or black,
you'll notice how
African American.
Yeah, you'll notice how Jew specifically, because she's talking about the government stopping them from infecting everyone else, and from and that these are privileges that they shouldn't get. This is exactly the kind of thing that Hitler said in several speeches in the late 20s and early 30s.
Yeah, Goebbels is Goebbels is rolling in his grave, going, "That bitch is spitting."
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that motherfucker is throwing a goddamn party in hell right now.
Oh yeah, that's.
It's so fucking
wrong.
I think we really need to make it clear that there are privileges associated with being an American. If you wish to have these privileges, you need to get vaccinated. Travel and the right to travel interstate, it's not a constitutional right as far as I know, to board a plane. If you want to stay unvaccinated, that's your choice. But if you want to travel, you better get vaccinated.
It is a constitutional right.
And see, the documentation, all that stuff, that infuriates me so fucking much. And another thing that really drives me up the fucking wall with this whole thing is they keep using, as far as like infection rates and all that stuff, as a justification for all this. Look at the numbers that matter, the hospitalizations and death rates, and they are so fucking low.
Let's see. Visiting professor of health policy and management at George Washington University, where she is a distinguished fellow in the Fitzu Mulan Institute for Women or for Health Workforce Equity. She is also a non-resident senior fellow at the Brookings Institution.
So, in other words, she's a Chinese communist working in communist institutions, doing communist things.
Yeah.
Yep.
She wrote a book called When Doctors Don't Listen: How to Avoid Misdiagnosis and Unnecessary Tests and Lifelines, a doctor's journey in the fight for public health.
What?
She wrote a book called When Doctors Don't Listen: How to Avoid Misdiagnosis and Unnecessary Tests.
How about unnecessary procedures?
I feel like that's important.
How much of a sophist do you have to fucking be?
Oh, she was former health commissioner for the city of Baltimore.
That's not helping her resume.
Which is on the list of places for
not to move to.
Yes, Maryland, one of the slave-owning states that didn't leave the Union, that still managed to regularly attack Union troops as they tried to move through during the Civil War, but never actually seceded, that has just gone so hard authoritarian left, it blows your mind that it was ever considered a bastion of freedom during the Revolution.
Yeah, Maryland is fucking... I don't even like driving through it.
Yeah,
honestly.
So, quick fun fact: today, September 12th, in the state of Maryland, is actually called Defenders Day, and it commemorates the successful defense of the city of Baltimore on September 12, 1814 from an invading British force during the War of 1812.
Huh.
That was one of my fun facts today.
It's
super fun.
Hold on. An event which led to the writing of the words of a poem, which, when set to music a few days later, became known as the Star-Spangled Banner.
Right.
Ah, yes.
Yep.
The great.
But
prayer
in
to sacred sky.
2021, Baltimore's a shithole.
Yes.
Oh.
It's and you gotta love the Star Spangled Banner that is set to a British drinking song that became then a national anthem.
Yeah.
Because America.
Yeah. That's pretty savage when you think about it. We're going to take one of your favorite drinking songs that people sing in taverns and pubs from coast to coast.
We're going to rub
England,
your fucking face in
and we're going to make it our national anthem. So if you guys sing it again in your pubs, you are celebrating our independence from you.
Yeah, just the tune itself has become synonymous with America now.
Yes.
So it's completely ruined it forever, to the point where most people don't even realize that music was part of a drinking song before it became an actual national anthem, before it got set to Francis Scott Key's poem. So
in ye old England, you were the jukebox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably why his poem was written in the rhythm that it was written in. You know what I mean? He probably had that song just kind of a song you just can't get out of your head.
He was 3 sheets to the wind writing it. No,
he was in a prison on a fucking British ship.
Yeah, he was stuck. He was stuck on a. He wasn't quite in prison, so he had gone out there in order to negotiate for the release of a bunch of people that were on board the prison ship, and when he went to leave, the British said, "Hey, you can't leave yet because we're actually about to attack that fort, and so we're not going to let you go to go warn them or anything."
I know. I watched this episode of Drunk History. Okay.
Andrew is on my episode of Drunk History.
Yeah, it's pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I have an episode of Drunk History. I was so pissed when that came out too, because I'm like, that was my fucking idea. I had that idea.
I love watching that show when I'm stoned out of my fucking gourd. It is so hilarious. When I'm high, I can just lay there in bed all day and be entertained by it.
All right, let's get on to the last serious article I have. Right?
Okay.
No, it's not the last serious one, but it's a good serious one. Biden advisor says administration will, quote, run over GOP governors who resist vaccine mandates.
That's not violent imagery or anything.
It sounds an awful lot like
it is absolutely a threat of violence, and I'm all about it.
The funny thing is,
and he says, "Go."
Yeah, but the funny thing is what he's saying right now isn't even something that Lincoln said leading up to the civil. Even he wasn't this blatant.
Yes.
Yeah,
about I don't fucking care what you have to say.
That's some uncivil shit. And old politicians of old got really fucking uncivil. But ask
Aaron Burr.
Yeah, Aaron Burr.
I just watched that episode of Drunk History too.
That's why I wore. That's actually why a couple episodes
damn
ago.
near.
I only know that from the Got Milk commercial.
Oh, that's actually why I wore a couple episodes ago, because I'd mentioned the Burr Tactical Pistol Solutions, so I actually wore my shirt that says Burr Tactical Pistol Solutions on it, and it's got a picture of Alexander Hamilton with a crosshair over it.
Nice.
White House senior advisor Cedric Richmond said President Joe Biden is willing to, quote, run over any Republican governors who attempt to fight back against the federal vaccine mandates. After Biden unveiled a plan to impose either vaccination or frequent testing on over 80 million workers who are employed in companies that have more than 100 employees or more, Richmond told CNN that the White House is ready for the GOP opposition. Quote, the one thing I admire about this president is the fact that we are always going to put people above politics. and we're going to fight for those who really need our help. That was a quote from Richmond, a former Democratic congressman from Louisiana.
The people that are opting not to get the jab don't need your help. They don't want your help. They would like for you to drive yourself off a fucking cliff.
Hold on. Wait. Just wait. And I know Andrew wants to explode. Hold on. Let me get this last paragraph.
Yeah, I do
last
too.
Quote. Okay. Quote. All those governors that stand in the way, I think, it was very clear from the president's tone today that he will run over them. And it is important. It's not for political purpose. It's to save the lives of American people. And so we won't let one or two individuals stand in the way. We will always err on the side of protecting the American people.
There's so much to unpack here.
How about 23 states?
Yeah, how about he said one or two? What about like 23 individuals plus all of their attorneys general?
Plus most of their constituents.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be doing it if it weren't popular.
And how much? What's the percentage of the military that's based in Texas?
Oh God.
Right.
It's a pretty huge amount.
It's a pretty good percentage,
between,
right?
Between, I mean, if you look at the map, right, of the people who or of the governors who are opposing this, if you look at that map, it is almost a map of where major military bases are, with the exception of like California, and
Virginia.
Who's got that map?
I've got it right here.
Okay.
So states, do you want me to list them?
Yes, the free states, the good states, the winning states.
Right. Alaska, Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, and West Virginia. And I saw another one that had Ohio added in there.
Ohio and Indiana, yeah, I think it happened like almost simultaneously.
Most of that sounds Kansas like my top 10 list of places to move.
Yeah,
honestly,
if I remember right,
Idaho, Montana, Wyoming.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, when I saw the map, I actually pointed it out to Lindsay, and I was like, "Hey, right here, this is the redoubt right here, and take a look at that. Look at what's going on right there." So you know how I keep talking about moving there? Take a look at that. And there may have never been a better time.
Dude,
I was looking at jobs in Missoula
one of the prepper podcasts I listened to, Prepping 2.0. They just moved from the Seattle, Tacoma, or sorry, not Seattle, Tacoma, from the Olympia, Washington area to the Kalispell, Montana area.
Oh,
and yes, that was what I was like. Oh God, and I made a comment like jokingly on the Facebook.
Montana's fucking beautiful.
And I said if you're packing and you find a dresser that's heavy and says "ouch" when you move it, it's just me. Take me along. But they were talking about when they went to look at the house in Montana, like they had said who they were, and the realtor's like, "Oh, I listened to you guys," and they said that they were taken back because they didn't know how to respond to that, and the realtor goes, "Oh, I have a perfect house for you. It has a built-in gun safe."
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that would be perfect.
That
Go
would
on.
I was intrigued.
Go on.
Yeah. But I mean, like all of these states, though, like you look at all these states, and like I said, this is where a lot of the military is at, and where a shit ton of the military comes from.
Not only that, but there's also the added effect of a lot of people from Texas consider themselves Texans, right? And so, like in the military, like Fort Lewis, you know, in the Seattle, Washington area, a lot of those soldiers up there and Air Force men are from these southern states. They're from Texas.
Yeah.
They're from Louisiana, from Arkansas. They're from these states that are on this list.
Yep, they are. Yep. And that's exactly, I mean, this is where these guys are from. This is where a lot of them are going to set their allegiances. Texas, there is T-shirts right now being sold that say Texan or American just until Texas secedes.
Yes.
I've seen those.
So like,
I talked to a mutual friend of ours about that the other night, and I'm like, if Texas secedes, I'm moving in. She goes, "Thank God, don't leave me alone with these people."
Yeah.
I know
get
who
a
you're
camper and
talking
drive
to.
my happy ass down there.
No, I was talking to Carrie actually, not Anna, but
Oh.
Yeah,
You're talking
she's
about
got to
it.
deal with her boss and everybody else all the time. She works for a contractor, so you can imagine the kinds of hyper conservative crap she's got to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But
If I had to
cathedral
deal with,
conservatives.
if I had to deal with either hyper liberals or hyper conservatives, if I had to choose between the two, I would choose hyper conservatives to be around.
Oh,
all day, every day.
Red state or blue
over
state?
hyper liberals.
Yeah, red state or blue state, red state every day. Without fail.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd rather be screamed at for being
if those were the only two options.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd rather be screamed at for just generally being a degenerate, and then people just don't want to have anything to do with me than to have people try to get me fired actively, and then also
people wanting to send you to
me
re-education camps.
Yeah, and wanting to throw me in camps, and I'd much rather deal with people who just are like, I hate you, and
just
then move on with their day.
Yeah,
that's what the neocons tend to do, is they just are like, I despise you, and then walk away, and you're like,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Quote, my legal team is standing by ready to file our lawsuit the minute Joe Biden files his unconstitutional rule. That is a tweet from South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. She also said the gross example of federal intrusion will not stand. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, he wrote that his administration will, quote, pursue every legal option available in order to halt what he calls a blatantly unlawful overreach.
How
Doug
many
Ducey
states are needed for a convention of the states? I forget.
75%, 80%, something like that.
I think
it's really that much.
I think it's 36 states. 36.
You know what scares the shit out of me out of a constitutional convention, though?
What? That they're gonna fucking make it worse.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember too. You also have to remember that so the precedent for that would be right in the lead up to secession actually occurring and things with the American Civil War. There were conventions of states called, and they were conventions exclusively of slave states. And where things get really weird is then there were also separate conventions that were called by rival governments within those states who were declaring themselves to be the new governments, who then also met, and it got really weird for 6 months where who was in charge, no one was really sure. And
Governor Doug Ducey of Arizona said his state will push back against federal mandates, saying, quote, Biden-Harris administration is hammering down on private businesses and individual freedoms in an unprecedented and dangerous way. This will never stand up in court. He also said, quote, this dictatorial approach is wrong, un-American, and will do far more harm than good. How many workers will be displaced? How many kids will be kept out of classrooms? How many businesses fined? The vaccine is and should be a choice.
Yeah.
Well, and really, I mean, the moral of this is that everyone should start voting with their feet if they can. You should start packing up, moving to states that are opposing this, states that are very clearly going to be on the correct side of history.
But how many people can do that,
I mean, it's hard. Yeah, I really can't either, but
I can't.
I bought a lottery ticket today, though, so we'll see.
Yeah.
If you win, you buy that big ranch out in Montana.
In Montana. I was just gonna say you gotta buy that. Place out in Montana, and we'll say I even have a name for it. We'll call it Rebel Ridge. It'll be fantastic. Just a huge fortified town. We'll build a wall around it. It'll be great.
I think we should call it Abolition Acres.
That would work too.
Yeah.
That sounds a little more horse ranch.
I'm just.
It's Montana. Hello.
I like the idea of abolitionist acres because I'm an armed abolitionist, according to my patch.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I can see doing that, but I think
secessionist center.
I just think that would be, that's that at this point. I mean, what's going on, especially with Biden and his guys just saying, well, we'll just run roughshod over everybody,
which is so fucking not even Lincoln the Tyrant said something like that.
Yeah.
Like Lincoln the Tyrant, verbally, publicly, he was like, hey, let's fix this, let's coalesce, let's unify, let's get this figured out publicly. And then privately he was a different person, Baltimore and all that good stuff. But like Biden is saying the parts he's not supposed to say out loud.
Yeah.
He's being
Right.
super blatantly, like just tyrannical and going, hey, I'm going to run roughshod over you. I don't care what any of you have to say. When he said that we'll get you out of the way or whatever, move you out of the way. I mean, like all of these things, like if you wanted to start another war of secession in the United States, like those are exactly the things you should be saying.
Those are the buttons you start pushing if you want more.
But this is also a guy who truly believes that having that in order for anybody to beat the federal government, they would need F-15s and nukes.
Oh, you watched that
Right.
video.
Snick.
Come on now. You know better.
Oh, I know. I absolutely agree with you.
Just to
agree
piggyback,
with the video.
just to piggyback on this one real quick. The new vaccine mandate for federal employees does not apply to Congress or those that work for Congress or in the federal court system.
Or postal workers.
workers.
In fact, I actually had a local postal worker when I mentioned something about like I didn't know how much longer I was going to have a job go, well, hey, we're actually hiring for postal carriers if you want to come work for us. And she's the same one who, when I talked to her a day later, said, this is getting so ridiculous. I think really it's about time we just have a rebellion.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, the reason that the postal workers were excused from having to get fucking vaccines, which is weird if you think about it. If they believe in the vaccines, you think postal carriers would be first.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're the ones who physically move stuff across this fucking country from person to person.
Yeah,
but anyway,
they interact with literally everyone.
Literally everybody. But the reason that they got exempt was because the Postal Workers Union was opposing the vaccine, and they're actually pretty powerful, and that's how Biden shut them the fuck up.
New York City is threatening to withhold the paychecks of police and firemen that are opposing the vaccine mandate.
Okay, have fun operating without police and firemen.
What's coming to mind right now is that meme where when you accidentally reduce the size of the federal government by 50% by introducing vaccine mandates.
Yeah.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch. You did it.
You did it. Yeah, I'm seeing that raccoon going.
I like the other one where the raccoon, he's handing the raccoon a pistol and he's like, go commit violence.
Yeah. I mean, the best part is like I think the funniest part about this is that like those of us who are anarchists and who are a little bit collapsitarian are going like, yeah, no, do that. Yeah, threaten that. Oh, keep saying those things. Yeah, keep doing this. Go. Yeah, come on.
Like, give him the chair. Give him the chair.
Yeah, it's like
collapsitarians are the meme or the meme of the guy with the stick. Come on, do something.
Yeah, we're the what we are is we're the buddies of the drunk guy who's getting overly aggressive in the bar who just want to see him get knocked on his fucking ass because he's such an arrogant prick. We're just like, no, you tell that guy, you give that guy who stands a foot taller than you and outweighs you by 100 pounds of muscle, you give him a piece of your mind. Like,
yeah. Don't let him touch your girlfriend's ass.
Take that double shot of 151.
Yeah.
Take the double shot of 151. Do it.
Yeah.
We're the Jerry Springer of the political space right now. We're just like, oh no, it's so terrible. Here's a knife. Do something with the knife. Oh God.
We're the guys encouraging that one dude to mix Jaeger and Fireball.
Oh God,
God.
It was so disgusting.
I fucking gagged. Why do you guys always tag me and shit like that? I fucking gagged.
That was the best part.
Right back in the glass.
Nope.
That was the best part. He shot the whole thing, and then quarters of it goes back in the glass.
And then he fucking
yeah, and then because he's committed, he's got to do it. And I just love his. Oh God, nope. You were right.
Why is it spicy?
Derica is so red right now. She's gagging.
My wife and I were laying in bed last night. We were just dying. I think I played it probably 8 times. You can't show me shit like that after Tuesday.
I was just.
You guys, you know what this makes me think of? You guys,
that
this
we're
makes me
fucked up
realize.
individuals.
No, this makes me
yeah.
realize how little female interaction I have in my life. I'm home all day with these fucking boys and these male dogs, and like my one escape is talking to you assholes, but it's boys. Like I'm.
Jerica,
You memed
What?
your
I'm
dog's
in the
balls
exact
the other day.
opposite boat.
Okay, I mean, you memed your dog's balls the other day, Derek.
That was a
Yeah.
funny meme. Okay.
It was. It absolutely was.
But
No, but Jerica, I'm in the opposite boat. You see, you've got me. On a normal day, you've got
I
me
know.
and my wife and my oldest daughter and my current youngest daughter for 2 more days, and then my 2 female dogs and my 3 female cats. And every other weekend, I get my son, and he and I just kind of disappear.
Yeah, I bet.
But other than that,
Hey, let's
it's
go to the
me in a
range.
sea of
But, like,
estrogen.
That's right,
You
Derek.
guys always
you'll have a
tag
granddaughter
me.
soon enough.
You guys always tag me in something gross, or you fucking put it in the Telegram chat.
Our Telegram chat is so lit sometimes.
I still see this as revenge for the finger thing. I
so little.
still
Oh.
that was so disgusting.
She fed
and
it
so
to her
horrible.
family.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Fine. I guess we're even now, you guys.
Not quite.
Jesus.
Speaking of segues, perfect segue. You guys remember Grimace, McDonald's, the big purple thing?
Yeah, what the fuck is Grimace? Does anyone know?
He was the
Yes.
soda one.
Yes,
That's all
I do.
know.
I do know because I have an article about it from the
I
Huffington
fucking
Post.
know. I know.
Nope.
Ooh, I know. Go ahead,
Oh
Jason.
no.
Yes.
This is weird, you guys.
This is the
I mean,
surprise article.
A purple butt plug? Like, I don't.
He looks like a purple butt plug.
It's not quite that weird, but it's weird.
The manager of a McDonald's franchise in Canada has revealed the story behind Grimace, the purple pal of a longtime mascot Ronald McDonald, and it's left a lot of people very confused. Brian Bates, who has worked for the chain for 10 years, casually dropped it in an interview with CBC News over the weekend. Quote, "He's an enormous taste bud, but a taste bud nonetheless." Bates told the network its unofficial explanation, adding that the character was meant to show that the food tastes good.
What?
What? No, go
The
ahead.
big purple thing is a taste bud.
How much
A
fucking
taste bud.
mescaline? How much mescaline did the marketing team take before they looked at each other and went, "We'll tell everyone that it's tasty with a giant purple taste bud"?
And
Like-
not only a big purple taste bud, but this one's gonna be twice the size of the fucking Hamburglar.
Yeah.
Okay.
What the hell? Like, what do you just?
What giant taste buds you have? What better to
and
taste
it's
you
gonna
with?
look like a fat eggplant.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what is? Like, what? Again, mescaline is the answer. Like, I'm telling you right now, that's what was happening. They were just that whole McDonald's marketing team in the '80s was just like completely tripping fucking balls, and we're like, I got it. Giant.
In the 80s?
Well, was that what 70s? Was it 70s?
No,
I feel like
think
the
that
80s
was
is really
80s.
when most of that
I'm
took
just
off.
saying, if it was the 80s, they were probably on coke.
Well, but does Coke really do? Nah, because I mean, ketamine was
Coke
kind of a
doesn't
thing,
really-
right? There was the club
Yeah,
kids in
okay.
the 80s
All
and
right,
stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
ketamine was a thing. Like that was before MDMA really took off, and you had the X. So it was mescaline and like ketamine. So like they were just doing just a shit ton of mescaline and ketamine, and then we're just like, I got it. We got to leave the club and go back to the office right now. I came up with it, guys.
And they're using ketamine therapeutically now.
Yeah. And they're just like, oh, I'm too stoned to come up with it. Hang on. All right, now we can do this. And
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, Grimace is 10 foot 3 inches tall, and first appeared in 1971.
Oh.
71. Okay,
He
so
originally
this is
10
he originally
foot 3
appeared,
inches
Yep.
tall.
Yes.
but he originally appeared as evil Grimace with 2 pairs of arms to steal milkshakes.
Well, you know what?
And then in the
Wow.
80s, as Andrew said, was when they pared it back and made him, what he is now.
A little less horrifying, slightly less
Yeah.
horrifying. Yeah.
I just
But now we know why we didn't know what Grimace was before. Nobody wanted to actually tell that story.
Yeah,
Once they
whoever
fucking thought about it.
there is no human being on the planet who looks at that thing and goes, "That's clearly a giant taste bud."
Yeah.
Right.
Not with our warped sense of imagination.
I mean, even like what? What?
You know, I spent my whole childhood thinking that Grimace was like grape soda, just like an amorphous fucking blob of grape soda.
Like he just melts and moves,
And
like
no
the
one would
thing
fault you
and-
for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Come taste my burgers, children.
It's actually Joe Biden in the suit.
So all those little kids that would run up and give a face hug to Grimace were actually tasting a taste bud.
Yeah, so they're
Gross.
They're. I mean, so
They
it's kind
weren't.
of-
What was
They
Joe Biden's
weren't
first job?
giving a hug. They weren't giving a hug. They were being licked every time they hugged
which
him.
means that they were all being claimed by McDonald's.
Right.
Because if you lick it, it's
Ooh.
yours. So
Oh, see now, here's a rabbit hole we could go down for a while.
If he fell over, does it still count as the 5-second rule?
I just
That's gross, dude.
That article made me laugh so hard when I saw it. yesterday.
I mean, that does explain why Wendy is so into Grimace.
Grimace is all tongue, baby.
Yeah.
So wait,
Oh,
so why did they fucking name him Grimace then?
Yeah, why is his name?
A
because he was
Grimace is like-
originally evil Grimace. He was originally an evil character that stole stuff. They just dropped the evil and left the name Grimace.
Okay. So then the taste bud, the one that's tasting your food, is named after a fucking disgusted facial
Yeah, I was
expression.
gonna say.
Right.
Nice.
He's also tasting your kids, so I can understand.
Yeah. Yeah, licking kids is not a recipe for health.
No.
It's,
In fact, if you lick children, aside from obviously being very weird,
I mean, kids lick each other, so
right, I suppose.
Lick a kid, get voted president. Just
apparently,
No, that's sniff kids.
yeah, that you think.
yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that's
as
all
far as,
that
we've
gets caught on
seen.
camera.
Yeah.
as far as we know.
Who knows what happens behind closed doors?
What was the that comic that Greg Alexopoulos does where it's Biden and he like convinces that kid to come closer and like opens his mouth like a giant fucking like
Oh,
toothy
yeah.
monster and like eats the child and
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, a fucking taste bud.
Whoa, ladies, that's my job.
yeah, because it's almost spooky season, so it's almost time for Hocus Pocus and ooh, I smell children. Whoa, ladies, that's my job.
That's great. I think I posted that last year.
Well, I
stole it
mean,
from
he makes
somebody.
out with his granddaughter, so
Yeah.
No, dang old hairy leg roaches, man. Oh, dang old-
He sniffs his wife's fingers if her hand gets too close to his face. You guys remember that one?
Yeah,
Yep.
that one was. He's so creepy.
Oh, it's cringy.
Now that we've
Ah.
gone completely down the drain.
Popcorn.
Oh,
we
good
never came
segue,
out of the
Jason.
drain.
That was a good segue, Jason.
Now that we've gone completely down the drain.
Yeah.
Meet the
Let's
property
pull out all the
owner who
stops.
created a toilet garden to protest local officials.
Yeah.
What's the name of the town, Jason?
We'll get to that, damn it. That's two.
That's
that was
two.
a double. That was
I
a double
posted
thing.
this. I posted this on Facebook earlier because and I tagged Deirdre in it. and
Actually,
I said
that
this
one
will
was
be
a
a
double.
good one.
That's three.
I said it would be a good one for the show tonight. It would be at least a 3 snorter, and we've already
Yeah.
gotten 2.
No, we're at 3. She did one once
we're
during the
3.
Grimace story.
Well,
Yep.
this story alone will be at least a 3
Oh,
Fair
boy.
enough.
because of the way it's written, which is absolutely fantastic.
Okay, let me get a drink of water. Give me a sec.
You know, the funny thing is too, just to preface this, is like weirdly, like
You wanna read
America has a long history of like doing weird things with like bathroom appliances and things for art, like with all the bathtub Jesuses you see across the American South and shit. Like, this is a weird thing that happened.
You have the article brought up?
I do.
Go ahead, read it.
I've got it here.
Oh God.
America has a habit of doing weird things with all kinds of stuff. Have you guys seen the Cadillac farm?
Yeah, Grimace.
Yeah, Grimace is the thing.
Grimace is.
There's an artist here in Wisconsin who's known for putting cars in trees. Why?
There's
no one
one
knows.
of those. There's one in Oregon on the way to the coast, like between my parents' house and the lake house.
Down in Wisconsin Dells, there's a place where they have 4 Pontiac Fieros that are pointed up in the air like missiles.
Cadillac graveyard.
You know, that's the Cadillac farm. The Cadillac farm. They're all like buried.
Yeah.
You know.
It seems like a waste of perfectly good Cadillacs. But anyway, so meet the property owner who created a toilet garden to protest local officials. Quote, "I have my First Amendment rights," says Hank Robar. Hank Robar just turned 80, and he's a happy man. The toilet gardens he erected around his hometown of Potsdam, New York, were declared... Yep, the Pots.
Come on, Derico. This is a serious podcast. This is the First Amendment issue we're talking about here.
She's right on the edge.
Go on.
His Pots garden is in Potsdam is declared protected by the First Amendment this spring. Yes, you read that correctly. Robar created his art fields of toilets with plastic flowers growing out of them to get back at local authorities. The first seeds of the project were planted in 2004 when local authorities refused to grant Robar a zoning change that would have allowed him to sell some property to a buyer to build a Dunkin' Donuts. But then, in 2005, a piece of property 3 blocks away, not Robar's, was sold to a buyer who, by golly, went and built a Dunkin' Donuts. A little time passed, and Robar requested a zoning change for a different lot that he owned. According to a long and well-reported piece by Sydney Schaefer at NNY360.com, a board member told Robar they weren't going to change the zoning rules for his second lot either.
This is usually how you get a killdozer.
Yeah, I know, right? This is
how you
killdozer.
fucking...
Instead, you get toilets full of plastic flowers.
Yeah, there are two kinds of rebels in the world.
All right, go on.
Anyway, so that's when Robar decided to express his feelings about the town's leadership artistically. Jason's got it on screen. He started to put toilets all over his property and filled them with fake flowers. When he needed more toilets, he went dumpster diving, and when he finished the one garden, he started another and another. These porcelain gardens did not sit well with the city elders.
That's a 3. I told you.
That's 4.
Who sued Robar for local code violations in 2008. The case was dismissed when the code enforcement officer arrived at court without the documents against him. How do you do that? You had one job.
They got flushed.
So you could say he was out of paper.
Yeah, it's just... Robar continued to frustrate Potsdam's Poobahs by...
That was my favorite phrase from the whole fucking article.
Potsdam's Poobahs.
Potsdam's Poobahs.
Wow.
That'd be a cool punk band.
I got freaking tears rolling on my face.
And now opening for Mouse Rat, Potsdam's Poobahs.
He wrote this one. We'll see it at the hotel.
Anyway, by creating more and more of his art, sometimes he added bathtubs and wash basins, but toilets and urinals dominate. There's one from Clarkson College, Robar tells Reason. I love how proud of that he is. Like, the college even gave me a urinal. I don't think they gave it to you so much as they're getting rid of it, and you were like, "Can I have that?" And they're like,
"Okay,
I guess. Please just go away." In 2008, the town made one last attempt to dethrone Robar.
Oh. This dude is the shit. I like him. He's got a good movement going.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Oh. The Board of Trustees passed a law against visible junk. Quote,
Hang on. When I read that,
junk.
I thought that was another joke by the author.
Yeah.
It's the actual fucking law.
Yeah. They really, because of all these toilets, they really don't want visible junk in public. They're very concerned.
Yeah.
They want it tucked away.
Yeah. That's the deposit, accumulation, display, and/or outdoor storage of junk appliances, junk furniture, junk mobile homes, junk motor vehicles, garbage, regardless of quantity, is hereby prohibited within sight of neighboring properties, and/or business concerns. At that point, said Robar, it was time to sue or get off the pot. I keep thinking, too, like he originally wanted to build a Dunkin' Donuts and then instead wound up with all these toilets. And it's kind of like with a different ring there.
I admire the guy. He's got a really strong constitution.
I hired a lawyer and another lawyer, he says. I have my First Amendment rights. That's what his lawyers argued, too, alleging that the junk law was retaliation against Robar's artistic and political freedom of expression. They filed a federal lawsuit against Potsdam for violating Robar's rights and demanded $7 million in damages.
Mm-hmm.
In February, the town rescinded its junk statute, but the federal lawsuit barreled on, and in April, Robar won his case. I got a settlement, but I can't say what it was, says Robar. I'm happy with it.
I'm sure you are.
Man, dropping that kind of thing on him probably really made him happy. I know that tends to make things like that make me happy.
Wow.
Happy tour the tourists who flocked to Potsdam, population 15,000, to take selfies in front of those newly minted First Amendment icons. Graduates posed there with mom and dad, says Robar. I wish I had $1 for every picture they took.
There's T-shirts being sold on eBay.
Potsdam, New York.
Oh my God.
And it's got a toilet with flowers in it.
I love it.
Oh, man. Instead, he said he's semi-retired.
Would be such a big deal with the local community if the name of the fucking town weren't Potsdam.
I mean, it's funny how small towns like to embrace stuff like that, because the one of the towns that's near where I go camping is Mercer, and they're known for a lot of Sasquatch sightings. So I have a T-shirt that I wore today earlier that says Sasquatch, and it's got the silhouette of Sasquatch flipping you off. And it says Mercer, Wisconsin. But and there's tons of Bigfoot
even closer,
stuff
Andrew. There's a little bitty unincorporated town of Leon, where years back in the 60s, there was a little tiny pond that somebody had thrown a baby pet alligator into.
No, that isn't the story.
That's what the one that I've always been told.
Yeah, no.
So grew up out there.
The reason, so Leon, Wisconsin has an alligator fest, and the reason that it has Gator Fest in Leon, Wisconsin, is because I don't remember if it was the Washington Post or the New York Times. There was a major national news story was written about them having to extract an alligator from the sewer, but they were talking about Leon, Florida, but they printed Leon, Wisconsin. And it got hilarious because then local residents were getting all sorts of
totally lost
calls.
interest in what you're saying, Andrew. I'm drifting off mentally right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's funny because then all the locals started getting phone calls from the newspapers saying, "Hey, about that alligator in your sewer in Wisconsin," and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And now
it's Leon. They don't even have a sewer system.
Yeah. Get that last paragraph on there.
Oh, so instead he's semi-retired, still working on some of his rental properties and enjoying his living legacy. But you've got some people, they've got a little authority in a village and they always think they can push it a little further, he says. But I think now people realize that they do have rights. You just got to stick up for them.
And toilets are how you taught people that.
And apparently...
that last line, Andrew.
Just
you gotta stand up for them.
Stick up for them.
You got to stick up for them, or perhaps sit down.
Or perhaps sit down.
Oh, that phrase, Potsdam's Poobahs. I was just dying.
I think that's an episode title.
The Potsdam Poobahs. That actually, you know what that sounds like? Actually, is it sounds like a minor league baseball team.
It does.
Yeah, it kind of does.
It totally
The
does.
one in Missoula is called the Paddleheads.
Huh.
But
Right.
their mascot is a moose because moose antlers are called paddles.
Right. I know. I bought them for the dogs before. They love chewing on them.
If it was the Potsdam Poobahs, you'd have to. I mean, that'd have to be AA. There's no way that'd be a AAA club.
Well, yeah, I mean it's that's like the Bull whatever that movie about the
Durham
minor
Bulls.
league. Yeah, Bull Durham. Yeah, like that's kind of that level of club is what you're probably looking
Right.
at.
I was
there.
thinking like a league of their own kind of.
Yes. Potsdam Poobahs.
Yeah. Like where they started, where the sisters started on their farm, like their little local ball club. Yeah.
Yeah. The Poobahs. Yeah, that would be great. They all come onto the come out onto the field with like the big head dress things and robes and
Yeah.
curly
God.
shoes.
But the word has the word poo in it. Okay.
Poobahs.
And it's Potsdam. And the fight's over toilets.
Well, I mean, now that he's got that great big settlement, he's probably pretty flush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely liberated.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a good movement for him.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a load off his mind.
Oh, you guys.
Poobah.
You guys.
Poop jokes.
I'm gonna change Jerica's name on my phone to Poobah.
I swear to God, I have the humor of a 12-year-old boy.
That's why
from
we all
hanging
get
out with all
along
you
so well.
guys all the time.
Don't you literally have a 12-year-old boy?
He will be 14 tomorrow. Thank you very much.
But that's why
Okay.
she knows what to compare it to.
Yeah. Well, I also have a 19-year-old boy. 2 of them, if you count my stepson, which I do.
Conveniently, speaking of 12-year-old boys, a Santa Cruz boy with a sky-high dreams may have to bring his play back down to the ground. Kindred Sparks' 12-year-old son, see, there's the segue. 12-year-old son was sheltered at home because of COVID-19 as his science camp class trip was canceled. Then his 5th grade graduation was canceled. Finally, the sports team he tried to try out for was canceled. Instead of becoming frustrated, the elder Sparks boy came up with an idea. A treehouse for he and his younger brother to play in and create new happy experiences.
Life hands you lemons, you build a treehouse.
That's right.
Yeah.
You ever just eat a lemon? It's fucking disgusting.
Well, yeah, but I mean, too, like, have you ever been unhappy in a treehouse? Can you be unhappy in a treehouse? I submit that you cannot.
No.
The last time I was in a treehouse, it was doubling as a hunting blind. So no, I cannot possibly.
Why do you guys think I'm putting a fucking egress ladder on my deck roof? Because that's like kind of like a treehouse up there.
So you can let your kids climb up there and then take the ladder down.
Yeah.
Well,
Until they drop
not the
a
worst
plane.
idea in the
That's just-
world.
It's just a side benefit.
It's good that no one ever had anything like that for me when I was growing up, because I always wanted to be a Hollywood stuntman, and I would have climbed up there and thrown myself off immediately.
You know
The
what's
moment.
weird?
We had a pine tree that leaned out over the house, and
You know what's weird is I would, like my kids, I would have done that shit. We were the kids who pushed the trampoline under the 2-story fucking roof and jumped off of it onto the trampoline and then into the pool. Like we were those kids. None
Yeah.
of my boys would do that. None of them are like that. It's so weird.
I had
I'm like, How did I
20
fucking give birth to
Yeah.
such cautious children?
Yeah, what
This
the hell
doesn't
happened
fucking
there?
makes sense.
the house I grew up in when I was about that age was in towns, but we had like a 20-foot tall freaking shed in the backyard. and a giant walnut tree right next to it. Climb up the walnut tree, jump on the shed, and then if you got a running start, you could make it from the shed to the garage.
Yeah.
It's about
I mean, this is
10-foot drop.
childhood. This is childhood. All of us climbed on shit when we were kids. All of us.
If you
wanted
didn't
to
fall
fucking
out of
be
the
up off
tree in the
ground.
front yard,
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm about to fucking order and plant like a 30-year-old Southern live oak in the fucking yard. So someday somebody will be able to build an epic fucking treehouse.
That would be amazing in a live oak. You know how big it could be?
Oh, the Southern live
Yes.
oaks, the ones that spread like this
Yeah.
everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That
Good
could be
Halloween,
amazing.
good Halloween trees too, because they look really fucking creepy with an underlight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of becoming frustrated, the elder Sparks boy came up with an idea: a treehouse for he and his younger brother to play in and create new happy experiences. Sparks said that because of her son's learning style, he was homeschooled during the Zoom era. Through his research, he found a cool school project. Quote, the boys have always wanted a treehouse, and then with the pandemic, we started with just a little fort around the tree. In late winter, he drew up blueprints and watched YouTube videos online. We had the opportunity to turn that into a learning experience.
This is so
Hell
cool.
yeah.
this is
This
awesome.
is so fucking cool.
Yes. The treehouse was finished by the end of May, and Sparks' kids were ecstatic. Dozens of neighbors cheered him on and complimented the 12-year-old boy's work. Sparks added in her post about the situation on her community forum next door. Before
People
school
love
was
to see kids outside building shit and
Yes.
enjoying themselves.
Well, yeah, and if you're doing this as an educational experience, you know, I build lots of stuff. I just build back stairs and everything. Think about all the stuff that you do when you build stuff. You're learning you're learning geometry, right? You're learning the Pythagorean theorem because you got to calculate stuff.
It's
You're
literally
learning...
the only time I've ever fucking used it is when I was building shit around.
Yeah, exactly.
My house,
That's the only time you'll ever need it. That's
when I was making sure that the fence corners were exact 90-degree fucking angle.
you learn how to you learn how to figure out structural integrity. So you learn structural engineering and you learn materials science and you learn all these amazing things that are all just happening as part of this project. So they don't even realize that they're learning all this in-depth stuff.
You guys wouldn't believe how much Mike has been learning working for our contractor under the table.
Oh yeah, I do. I believe it.
I believe it.
I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Before school was back in session, he had his best friend over for a sleepover. So there's a picture of the treehouse for those watching at home.
That's a kick-ass treehouse.
Yeah,
It is a kick-ass treehouse.
Basic treehouse. It's got 4 walls and a slanted roof, and then there's a circular window, and there's a door and a little platform, and it's not very high.
No, it's not even that high.
It's probably only 6 or 7 feet off the ground.
Yep. And what I see very telling is what's directly underneath the treehouse.
Yes,
I can't see that from the picture.
There's a couple of hearts on the fence
Oh, cute.
that say "Show love,
Seek justice.
Yes.
Huh.
Quote, these kids had everything taken away from them. These houses are small. We are blessed to have a yard because there are lots of kids who didn't during the pandemic. That is according to Sparks. But we have a private little fort in the front that's his own. That sleepover was like a movie. Right? So it was saying it was a special
like Sandlot, like the Sandlot sleepover in the treehouse.
It was a special moment for the kid and all that good stuff. And
like Bart Simpson, one of the hallmarks of Bart Simpson over the 20-something years, is his treehouse. Like treehouses factor in enormously into childhood since probably freaking forever. Kids have wanted their own little space up above everybody where they can hide out. And
we had not a treehouse, but it was like a play structure my dad built before they were mass produced, and it was like way up high. We had a fireman's pole down from it and shit, and we jump off it onto the trampoline and stuff. It was probably 15, 16 feet up off the ground. So we climb up there and we fucking lay down, like sleeping bags and pillows and take snacks and shit. And we'd fucking sleep out there almost every summer night.
Yep. So, however, this week, Sparks opened her mailbox and found a letter from the Santa Cruz Department of Planning and Community Development. A neighbor had complained about the treehouse and said it was not up to code. After going back
Code,
and
it's
forth
a fucking treehouse
on private property. After going back and forth with 2 different employees, the family is still unsure of how the treehouse was even monitored by city code or what fines they might be charged with for being out of compliance.
Yeah. Could you tell us which code?
Yeah, quote, they dated it for August 4th, but we didn't receive the notice until 3 days ago. This article is from September 2nd. It's hard because it's always, quote, leave a message and we'll get back to you. It's a slow process. And we were told that all costs incurred by the city relative to our case can be billed to us, she says.
Oh my God.
Oh, it gets better.
Sparks
intends on fighting the complaint and has been told by city staff that she can get an extension of the deadline to comply if she proves she is working on a solution to the issue. But it's hard to find a solution when she isn't sure which neighbor made the complaint. Quote, the staff member said as long as no one complains, they aren't proactive about shutting them down. I have no ill intention because I know they're trying to do their best over there, she says. But I don't like any of the conflict and confrontation. If it wasn't for the fact that this was my son's project, I probably would just, but as a mother, just with everything the kids have been through this past year and a half, I owe it to him to fight for him.
Yeah, you always did, but now it's fucking obvious.
This is the best part.
I can tell you, honestly, what most likely caused the complaint. Like previously in the article, they said not a whole lot of people have yards. The fact that they have a yard and they put this kick-ass treehouse in their yard,
and all the neighborhood kids want to be there now.
Yep.
She's fucking jealous, and
this is the crux of the whole thing. Quote: the main issue is not about the code, but the setback and about the treehouse being too close to the front, Sparks said. They said they want consistency in the front yard, but it doesn't seem as though my street is as consistent. People park trailers, boats, and things in their front yards, so that, to me, doesn't really seem like a valid argument. The tree is already there, it's just a structure within the tree.
Yeah, and consistency in the front yard.
The issue says, so the code says that the treehouse is too close to the front of the house because they want uniformity in the appearance of the neighborhood.
You are all special, just like everyone else.
Yeah.
Just
that's like some Wrinkle in Time shit, where all the kids are bouncing the ball in front of their fucking little.
This is
right.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that that people used to write about as like this dystopian future where everyone had to be exactly the same and Pleasantville, exactly, where everything's exactly the same and no one
Stepford
has
Wives even
emotions and that's what this is, and it's really fucking creepy, quite frankly.
It's eerie. Yeah.
As she dug deep to how her boys may be affected by local laws, the city notified Sparks she would need to take the policy to the Santa Cruz City Council for discussion. Privately, another city staff member messaged her and encouraged her to pursue the effort. Quote, with my youngest, I'm not really sure. He knows it could be taken down, but the older one who built it is super bummed. He doesn't really understand why.
Nobody understands why.
Yeah.
Nobody understands why.
It's because there's a Karen in your neighborhood, and there's always a fucking Karen.
In a
just society.
You know who you need to look at first? Whose house did all the kids hang out before the treehouse? Where did all the kids hang out at?
Who's the cunt that lives next door?
Yeah,
I was going to say the person right next door who, maybe that treehouse for whatever reason is right in her line of sight to see who's coming up the street or something like that. Some overly nosy fucking neighbor who can't keep their nose out of everybody else's fucking business.
Either that or the mom who wanted to be the house where all the kids hang out. And now she's not anymore.
Yeah. The treehouse has been a learning lesson, a lesson in democracy.
Yeah, I mean, the funny
Quote-
thing is that's actually accurate.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
quote, it's all about having real individual conversations. That's the reason why we have a smaller government. Large-scale laws don't always work for everyone in town, she said. This should be considered a special case because it's our youth. The area is supposed to be forward-thinking and progressive. We should be rallying around these kids.
Well,
Forward
you're right.
thinking.
You should be rallying around the kids, but at the same time, the freaking statement right there, progressive area. That is where
Yeah.
you will find all of your Karens. All of them.
That's where the
Yes.
worst Karens hang out.
Yes. Sparks will show up at meetings and tell her kids about making the system better, despite a failing attempt at the policy change in a similar situation last year at Capitola. Capitola is another city in Southern California. And she also says, I'm not giving up.
Good. Don't.
Or should she?
You're going to find out real quick how progressivism goes very wrong.
Katie Bramlett, a mother of 2 girls who also helped build a treehouse in the front yard during the pandemic, spoke with KSBW last year about how neighbors went to the city too before first approaching them. So this is the one in Capitola. Quote, I get it. 2 or 3 people don't like it. Let's talk. But for one person to cause all of this is such a waste of city resources. Then Mayor Kristen Peterson said this week that from her recollection, the family close to it, the family chose to take it down altogether rather than rebuild the treehouse to code. So, which
there's actual treehouse code.
There are actually.
In some cities, yeah.
There is actually, even here in La Crosse, there actually are.
Just for the record, treehouse code makes me want to be extremely violent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. There actually, and the reason that I know that there are here in La Crosse is because there's a stretch of a street that is a bunch of really, really expensive houses. Like maybe not for around Jason, but for around here, they're very, very expensive. They're $750,000, $1 million, couple
You're
million
getting
dollars
sidetracked.
each. So they were all very, very expensive. And in one side bit of one of these houses, they built this really elaborate big tree house. I'm super jealous. It's got like lighting in it and glass windows, and it's this really neat thing.
And it turned,
it's super cool. And it turned, because you can see it from the street though, and because it has electrical wiring in it.
Oh, fucking bullshit.
The city wanted to decide that it was an actual part of the dwelling, like it was an outbuilding, and therefore had to be to code for an outbuilding at a dwelling.
A livable structure.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was fucking ridiculous, but I remember that struggle because I'm just like, it's a fucking treehouse. And it doesn't actually have electrical run to it. It's an extension cord that they plugged rope lights into. Fuck you. What the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Party lights on a fucking outdoor extension cord.
You know what she needs? She needs a toilet garden.
Yep.
Or just to build one of those.
Fence.
No, she needs to build one of those giant middle finger statues right in front of the tree.
Was that in Vermont or whatever?
Yeah, where he couldn't build whatever, so he just built a giant middle finger aimed at the city council
Maybe they
building.
should just paint one on the side of the treehouse and it becomes political speech.
Yeah, it's political speech at that point. Yeah.
It's a billboard.
Yep.
I need to flush that city's opinion.
I fucking hate shit like the fucking Karens though who live in these neighborhoods who just can't look and go, oh, that's cool, and just be happy for somebody.
Same with the kickball in Colorado Springs.
Yeah. Like
same fucking situation. Like, kids are
so
having fun.
infuriating.
Oh my god, I have to complain about it.
Yeah, are you kidding me? I have kids all over my neighborhood who decide that they're, you know how little kids like to scream for no discernible reason. They'll do that all the fucking time. And I'm just like, I roll and I move on with my day because they're just kids. They're playing. This is what kids do. It's obnoxious, but whatever. This is what kids always do. So I'm fine with that. I'm not even sweating that. You know what I mean? It's Even when the house up over on the corner decided to start firing bottle rockets down the length of the alley, that was annoying, but it didn't become a problem until they started shooting them at people's cars. And then it became an issue. So, like, you know, if you're just firing bottle rockets down, we did shit like that all the time when I was a kid. Like, whatever. That's
I can remember running through every backyard in the neighborhood. Like every person that lived in the neighborhood knew me and the other kids that I hung out with, because they'd see us go running through the neighborhood. Oh, hey, how's it going? You know, running from my buddy who was coming after me. And
my mom and dad would go to every house on our block and give the parents permission to whoop our ass if they caught us doing anything we weren't supposed to be doing.
Oh yeah. I remember my parents.
We got in trouble a lot.
Like kids need to be outside playing like this and enjoying their fucking childhood, well, like we did.
Not only like for the physical, right? Because I'm going to use a word that's like faux pas, but the hierarchy. Right? Yeah. Kids develop a hierarchy through physical play. That's a reality. You know, adults do the same thing, you know, but it's more psychological. But kids developing this hierarchy and learning how to play with each other and what they can do and this and that and that and this, it builds a healthy mentality.
Agreeing on rules
that can carry them, you know, in as adults.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, the social aspect of it is enormous.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, what do we always say on here? We always talk about how the government is the best recruiter of anarchists, right? Better than any of us could ever be. This kid just built this thing and is like, why the fuck would anybody have a problem with it? This is stupid. This doesn't make any sense. You think that kid's going to grow up with faith in government at this point?
No.
Thinking that they ever have his best interest at heart? No, he's immediately going to be much easier to make sure he becomes an anarchist because he saw from an early age what happens when you do something that didn't hurt anybody and government just decides to get a stick up its ass.
Our boys saw that when the fucking neighbor complained about the food trucks that were coming to our house at the beginning of the lockdowns. Remember last summer we had food trucks like every week at our house for the whole neighborhood to come to? And we got shut down because we didn't have a fucking permit to be doing that. And the boys loved the food trucks. And the neighborhood loved the food trucks. You know? And no permit, so it got shut down.
Yep. But Dusty Coochie Karen was all bitchy about it and complained.
Yep, exactly. And what's happening with this is it's become even more of an educational experience because it's taught you that you cannot trust government to ever have your best interests at heart ever.
And it's taught you that anytime you start having too much fun, somebody with a fucking puckered up asshole will be there to wreck it for you.
Yep.
I prefer the term crusty coochie or dusty coochie.
Yeah.
Either one.
Yeah. Either way, they need to have there needs to be more toilet gardens.
Yeah.
Toilet gardens great.
Yeah, that people can't do anything about. You just have to see it and be like, I can't do anything about that. It is what it is. That's what people need to learn. Is to they can't. You can't order people around like that. Shut the fuck up.
You know, I do wonder how well would green peppers grow in a toilet garden.
Depends on the fertilizer.
Well, you know, you just need enough political promises to stuff into the toilets, and you're going to wind up with plenty of fertilizer.
There's a lot of fertilizer coming out of Washington right now. So, hey, you want to cover this last article, or you want to just get out of here?
We can do if we make it quick. I got the natives are getting restless over here.
It's not a really quick story, but armed protests are picking up, and a new study says they're more likely to turn violent.
Yeah.
You
needed a fucking study to tell you that?
Right.
Yes. Armed protests are 6 times more likely to turn violent as protesters where no guns are present, concludes a new study that analyzed more than 30,000 public demonstrations in the U.S. over the past 18 months. After peaking last summer, the number of armed protests on the nation's streets has started to rise again, according to a new study from the advocacy group Every Town for Gun Safety and researchers with the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project.
Speaking of dusty coochies, did anybody see how up in arms they were about David Chipman getting canned?
Yeah, they were
Oh
so
my God.
fucking...
That was so fantastic.
The mad cows were so pissed.
And they went, and they blamed the NRA. Like,
right.
Yeah, which is like the NRA wasn't even part of it.
It's the NRA. It's the NRA's fault that Democrats weren't supporting David Chipman.
Yeah.
They fucking blame the NRA for everything. The NRA's like their fucking Baba Yaga. Okay.
Yes.
It's like
they never killed anybody with a pencil.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's the funniest part about that too is like that meme that I did where the New York Attorney General was threatening to basically destroy the NRA, and I did the meme with the kill him or surrender or we'll kill the man. Kill him. He's not our man. And it was like actual gun owners and
talking about NRA.
And it's like, go ahead, kill him. I don't fucking care. He has nothing to do with us. And the FBC were the ones largely leading that charge, and the NRA still got the blame from the mad cows, and even the FBC was like, ha ha ha, and you still blame the NRA.
After a cooling off period following the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol.
Oh God. They're still calling it that?
Yes, they are.
It's their boogeyman. It's their boogeyman.
It gets worse.
There were posts. There were posts yesterday because yesterday was the 11th.
Oh, say that January 6th.
There were posts.
Worse than 9/11.
Yeah, it was worse than 9/11.
Are you serious?
There were people.
January 6th was like, you know, in cartoons, like one kid does something or the other one just stands there for a second, then kicks something over and runs away. That's what January 6th was.
Yeah, okay. But there was actually people, including people in Congress, who were saying that it was worse than an event that killed 3,000 people.
Well, yeah, because this one challenged
directly killed 3,000 people. That doesn't include the thousands of lives lost in the ensuing wars that was used to justify.
Yeah, well, millions of lives lost.
Millions. 30,000 that committed suicide as a result of the actions. Post-11.
Yeah.
So after cooling off period following January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, the proportion of protests in which people are armed doubled from February to June, and there are more planned for the rest of the summer. Well, this is the first time since our coverage began at the start of the 2020 that we've seen such a continuous increase for so many months in a row. The last time we recorded a steady rise in armed demonstration activity like this, it culminated in the attack on the Capitol.
Attack on the Capitol.
Oh my God.
Making it sound like the fucking War of 1812 and the British burned the fucking White House.
Where did this? Oh, the story's from USA Today, so I'm not entirely surprised.
Like, these people knocked over a stanchion or two, for God's sake.
Yeah. And one guy walked off with Nancy Pelosi's podium.
Right.
Lectern. That was fucking hilarious.
That's a lectern.
That was fucking hilarious.
The study examined 560 instances in which individuals, whether the protesters themselves or people who opposed them, brought firearms to demonstrations. In roughly 1 in every 6 of those demonstrations, quote, violent or destructive activity ensued.
Are they counting the ones where the police showed up because the police are always armed? Bet
no,
you they're not.
They're also not talking about the looters. At protests where no guns were present, 1 out of every 37 turned violent. Violent or destructive acts were carried out by armed and unarmed protests alike, the researchers said.
Bet you not.
So they're gonna instead of blaming what these people are so pissed off about, that they're fucking demonstrating and carrying guns, instead of blaming that, they're gonna blame the guns.
Blaming the guns. Yes.
Hold on. Next paragraph. Violence and property destruction occurred after political rallies of all types at which arms were present, including Black Lives Matter protests, the researchers found. 94% of Black Lives Matter protests, hundreds of which occurred around the city, peaceful.
Doubt.
quote, in contrast, demonstrations involving right-wing militias or militant social movements such as Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, or the Three Percenters, among others, have turned violent or destructive over twice as often, or nearly 14% of the time.
That sounds like cherry-picked data to me.
This is pure fucking sophistry. This is pure fucking sophistry. This, you know what happened when the BLM protests turned violent. You watched Minneapolis burn.
Hey.
Yeah.
They were mostly peaceful
Portland
protesters
fucking
as
burned,
the apartment burned.
That's more Antifa.
Yeah.
Portland, fucking Milwaukee, Kenosha.
Portland is still having violent protests.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's ridiculous.
So, yeah. Absolute fucking sophistry. Cherry pick data. Just fucking absolute 100%, 110% propaganda piece.
Oh, this entire thing, like, I'm just
this is
just looking through the rest of it for a while here, and the rest of this is such horseshit.
The article should go into the toilet garden.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so one-sided about, but I mean, the BLM protests were mostly peaceful, but then you have these terrible white supremacist movements like the Oath Keepers and the 3%ers and the Boogaloo Boys
and the Proud Boy.
There were people condemning the In the Damn Wars marches yesterday.
Yes.
Because there were people wearing Hawaiian shirts marching with them.
Oh, the best part is that one blue check mark who was trying to condemn, because Magnus was involved in stuff and was trying to condemn them. She received offers because she's a reporter for the New York Times. She received offers almost immediately from co-organizers, attendees, all sorts of people who were there to talk to her about it and talk to her about Magnus and be like, you need to understand the reality of this and you need to chill the fuck out. And her response was, "You got. He's a Boogaloo boy. Learn how to use Google." And everyone's like, we are all well aware he's a Boogaloo boy and what the Boogaloo movement is, and that's why we want to talk to you.
He's a gay leftist anti-war protester, but he's a terrible supremacist.
Well, the picture that they always use, for when they talk about Boogaloo is a picture of that event where he and several other Boogaloo boys tried to actively defended a transsexual Boogaloo boy from the Proud Boys. And there was they crop out the left and right where there's a number of black people standing there who are also in Hawaiian shirts and vests and everything. They crop them out, and I've even seen where they black out the trans flag on that guy's vest.
Yep. Propaganda, man.
Yeah.
They're fucking blatant about it to try and do anything they can that the group of people who's saying, hey, all the rights all the time, everybody deserves to be free.
Yeah,
people, they have to paint us bad.
Yeah, we should end the wars and end the foreign imperialism and bring our troops home and do this and do that and do this and do all this fantastic peaceful stuff to stop killing people. Oh, you're just a racist.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
that's all they've got.
Well, yeah, there's even that interview that was done with Magnus where he talks about we have people from the Boogaloo movement, we have ANCAPs, we have ANCOMs, we have members of the Communist Party of America, the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, all of these people from all different, political backgrounds and everything else. But because this is a single issue, this is a single issue that we can all agree on that, hey, we need to end these wars. We can come together and peacefully work together to try and protest this and stop this. There's that interview, and her response to that was to be like, but he's a Boogaloo boy. You guys got. Oh, you need to use Google. He's a white supremacist. He hates everyone. He's violent.
God.
Well, yeah. Sophistry.
To be honest, I got the same treatment last summer when I wore one of my Hawaiian shirts out and about. I wasn't even armed on that particular instance. It was in the car, but I didn't have it on me. And
my dad wears Hawaiian shirts just because he
I wasn't even going.
Your dad's
Right.
obviously racist. That's what it
But
comes down
because I was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, my family and I, we went to a local, I guess you could call it a beach, and
to. You were wearing a Hawaiian shirt on the beach.
On
Yeah.
the beach.
on
How
the beach,
dare you?
And,
and I had some Karen come up to me as I was going to the bathroom. You're just an evil racist because you're wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I was like, lady, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No. Either way,
what the fuck?
people be dumb, kids.
Yeah.
You
That's
gotta
a good
remember that
Title for the
yeah.
episode too.
The media doesn't want you to be free, and it doesn't want you to see that there are people who can all come together and fight for your freedom and actually say, hey, we need to
Yeah.
come together and worry about our freedom. Screw our
Yeah.
differences. You should be free. And even if you disagree with me, you have a right to do that. And what government's trying to do is keep people from being able to disagree.
And the media, when the media is reporting on stuff like this and even reporting on what alternate media sources have to say, they have a fucking conflict of interest. Their bottom line is already threatened by the age of connectivity, where people can just fucking talk to each other across the globe instantly. And so they're already defensive of like, and they're trying to show people how much we need the media to tell us what to think.
Cathedral media, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, these sort of things, like their numbers are down across the board and are falling and falling and falling. And that's that's the big propaganda. That's the voice of the cathedral of the
because
of the
people
big
are
government
tired
movement.
of their bullshit, the whole if it bleeds it leads kind of shit. Like people are tired of like
tired of the
constant fucking stress
sensationalism.
responses. Yeah.
Well,
Like-
sensationalism sells.
Watching the news is fucking stressful because they push so much negativity all the time.
There's an actual term for that in regards to global warming. It is now, I think it's in the Psychology Today or Psychiatric Today, is one of those magazines actually posted an article with a thing called eco anxiety. And it's people that are constantly obsessed or worried about global warming, climate change, that sort of thing, have developed an anxiety that is based on the global warming or climate change. And it is now
people who watch too much fucking news.
It is now a legit psychological trait or psychological issue called
it's an
anxiety.
It's a
neuroses. Jinx.
Yeah.
It's just like you see that with people on all sides of it, with all sorts of political issues, where if they watch too much news, they get so obsessed and worried and freaked out.
They call it in the in regards to the quote insurrection, Foxitis.
Good.
Right? People claim that they were brainwashed or whatever by watching too much Fox News.
Oh, for
Jesus.
How dim are you? How easily manipulated do you have to be that you decided, oh, this is going to be a revolution? I still love my favorite clip from January 6th is that chick that got maced in the face and she's like sobbing. And as she's sobbing and trying to wipe her face off, goes, it's a revolution.
Yeah.
If there's anything that said it's not a revolution, it's the fact that you were sobbing as you had said that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memes that I've seen recently was from yesterday, and it just sums this all up. And the top of the meme says, for people who watch the news, oh my God, the sky is falling, deadly pandemic, January 6th, blah, 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 blah. For everybody else, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, people don't read Chicken Little anymore. They don't understand The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Everybody thinks they're Don Quixote. Don Quixote was delusional. Read the book.
That's a lot of literary references.
Yeah. History repeats itself.
Sure
read Don Quixote. Read books. Like, not enough people, and you don't even need to read them. You can listen to them, right?
There's a movie. Go watch the movie. 1984. Fahrenheit 451. Don Quixote. Those books exist. Go watch, or those movies exist. Go watch them.
Yeah, Don Quixote. Doesn't that that's John Malkovich, I think, that plays Don Quixote in the movie.
I believe so.
That's apropos.
And the story of Don Quixote is where the idiom tilting at windmills comes from. I saw somebody using that improperly the other day. It was really hard not to fucking correct it.
Dragons.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what we're seeing is the direct result of public schooling, of the way that indoctrination has just driven people to not study for themselves, not read for themselves, not think for themselves.
One of the absolute biggest white pills I have experienced in the past 18 months is the fact that legitimate homeschooling, not Zoom education, legitimate homeschooling numbers have doubled since the beginning of 2020.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
The number of kids opted out or taken out of public schooling has doubled in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of that
is I swear to God, that is the biggest white pill.
And part of that is, I think that when you have somebody,
that's the thing that could make absolutely the most difference.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it makes sense, because if you think about it, like, how many people, their excuse for not homeschooling is, well, I have to go to work, and this gets my kid out of the house where I don't have to worry about them, and they're there, and they look at public schooling as a babysitter. Well, when that was taken away and that excuse no longer exists, they went, all right, well, I guess I might as well stay home. I guess I might as well start homeschooling. And I would bet you that most of these people are never going to send their kids back to public school.
Yeah,
God, I hope not.
I hope not.
Well, all right, let's throw some plugs and get out of here.
Buy my book.
And a crochet pattern.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, Oh, but also, if you're on Facebook, go to the page called The Itch Witch and like that page. That's my invention. And we're getting ready to market it to manufacturers and distributors.
That's the super cool, rad, fantastic, effective back scratcher.
Yeah, it's like a vertical tension mounted back scratcher you put in a door frame, and it's really effective.
Are we going to see you on an episode of Shark Tank?
I don't know, probably not, but
you should do it. I want to see it. Who wants to see? You guys comment. You guys all want to see Derica on.
I want to see Declan out there pitching it.
That would be freaking
I need
amazing.
a better prototype.
I want to see Declan out there pitching it. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
How many Declanisms can we squeeze into his pitch?
Yeah, if you need a better prototype, I'm buying a decently high-end 3D printer in the next few days, so I can always 3D print one if you can get me a digital model for it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So, I mean, because right now it's not being marketed for retail sales yet. It's just one of those, like, I'm trying to license the patent type of thing, So, but still like it and whatever. I'm going to try to get, I don't know, maybe some funny videos up there or something.
Start telling Derica to go on Shark Tank. Do it.
No.
I'm leading that charge.
This is another hill Andrew's willing to die on.
No shit, I was just fucking thinking that. That's why I said, God damn it.
You're going on Shark Tank. You're doing it. It's going to be great.
In the boots.
Good Lord.
That would be. Can you imagine getting to even bring up? Well, I wanted to do it because I believe in free market capitalism and on national television. You know how fucking amazing that would be.
Yeah,
that would be kind of funny.
And isn't Mark Cuban still on that one, on the American one? I think.
I don't know. Just throw your pitch. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I never watched it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to care for your beard like I do, like a Viking, and have a soft, luxurious, wonderful smelling beard, you're going to go to thebeardstruggle.com. Use code InkTanarchist15. Get 15% off your beard care products. Also, make sure that you check out Bad Moon Hemp, because the beard oil that she's making is life-changing for your beard. It will permanently make it softer. It is absolutely incredible stuff, and it smells amazing.
Yes, her website is currently under construction, so hit her up on Twitter as she's Luna. Does Pirate Chain. So On that note, got anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
So, on that note, this has been episode 151, and we'll not have anything funny to say. So we'll just catch you on the next one.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.